you are probably aging 20 to 30% faster as a male entrepreneur. We live tough lives, and because we're building our businesses, we want to provide for our families, we're running our own bodies into the ground. And that means that we're not able to provide the by far number one thing that our loved ones want, which is to have us around for longer, and not just having us here on this earth being alive for longer, but actually being present, being emotionally present for them as long as we possibly can. If any of you have ever had a loved one pass away, the one thing that you want is you want them back. Even if they haven't passed away yet, they may have got dementia, something may have happened to them because of them getting old. And all you want is for the person that was full of life and that person back in your life. And that's what I'm trying to give male entrepreneurs. I'm trying to give male entrepreneurs the opportunity and the system to not only be around longer for their loved ones, but also be the person that their loved ones want them to be. So instead of just extending life and adding years to our life, we want to add life to our years. So I'm really, really excited to announce the new podcast name. Previously, the Carnivore Entrepreneur Show. Hi, I'm your host, Grant Hutchby, and the Carnivore Entrepreneur Show was all about helping successful but stuck male entrepreneurs reverse their biological age. So we thought it was only the right thing to do, which is to change the name of the podcast to Longevity Masters. So I'm on an absolute mission to help midlife male entrepreneurs reverse their biological age. Because by reversing your biological age, you unlock so many different areas of your life. You make your body better, you make your mind better, and ultimately you make your bank account better. And what I want to deliver for you over the next however many weeks it is basically deliver to you the systems and the frameworks absolutely backed by science, studies, conclusive evidence of how we reverse biological age and essentially become a master of our own longevity. So I've been through this journey. I've built a business, been successful at it. I've got to the point where I enjoyed my business, enjoyed the fruits of my labor. I put in the graft, and as a successful entrepreneur on paper, I enjoyed the fruits of my labor. And because of that, I hit this pit of despair where I couldn't tolerate my body anymore. So after enjoying the fruits of my labor for quite a long time, I realized that I'd let my body slip. I'd let my mind slip. And I'll go through the story with you, but basically I hit a point in my life where I knew something needed to change. And that was sort of the tail end of 2022, beginning of 2023. And I have been on a journey to get my body to where I want it to be. And I am making a clear and public statement now that I truly fundamentally believe that with the science that's in place now, with the tools that we have to our disposal, because we are entrepreneurs, we're not lacking funds, we can buy certain things, certain quality things that can help us with our longevity, that I truly believe that I can live to 150 years old, potentially even longer. So I'm setting myself an initial target of hitting 150 years old. And I want to show everyone how I get there. Obviously, we've got quite a few years to go. I'm only 41 at the moment. My biological age is 10 years less than what I'm at currently. And when I entered this journey, I was at least 10 years older than what my chronological age was. So back in 2023, well, I didn't measure it exactly, but in 2024, I measured my age and I was at about 46, which was 6 years behind. So I can only imagine where I was at the beginning of 2023, at least 10 years above. I was at least probably age 50 at that time. And now I'm just above 30, which puts me 10 years below my chronological age. So that's why I've taken the time over the last 12 months to figure out the exact systems and steps, frameworks that we need to be able to reverse our age. And I have looked everywhere and checked everywhere, and I cannot see a specific longevity system for male entrepreneurs anywhere in the world. So anyone that knows of a specific system that is built on longevity for male entrepreneurs, please let me know. But I am making a statement now that I believe to be true, which is I am building and have potentially already built the only longevity system for male entrepreneurs. So I'm going to take you on this journey with me. I'm going to start off with my story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and how this came about. I've told a little bit of my story in previous episodes, so feel free to go back into other episodes. They are all still relevant. A lot of the episodes when I first started, not talking specifically about biological age, because I didn't realize back then, even like 6 months ago, didn't realize that what I was actually doing was all of the things that I needed to do to reverse my own age. And it came to me very recently that actually by reversing our age, we unlock everything that we want to unlock, whether that be how we want to look and feel, whether that be what we want to learn and what skills we want to do and how we want to be emotionally for the people around us, but also to accelerate our wealth and to accelerate our bank accounts so that we've got more money than we ever needed. And I'm going on this journey. I'm taking you on this journey with me. So if what I've learned over the last couple years is going to help, then feel free to watch along and hopefully you learn something as well. But I'm going to keep going on this journey until I reach 150. And then when I reach 150, I'll probably want to go a bit further. So yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to sharing this journey with you. And let's dive into the story. So I've always been into health and fitness. I played sports when I was younger. I played basketball quite competitively. And when I progressed on from there, obviously quit basketball because got into drugs and girls and all the rest of it as I was a teenager, as you can imagine. And then I decided to become a personal trainer and sports injury therapist when I got a massive scare with an asthma attack, couldn't breathe, all the rest of it. If you want more detail, read my book. And essentially I became a personal trainer and sports injury therapist. And that was when I was 21. That would have been about 20 years ago, 2006. So it was about 20 years ago. And I became a sports injury therapist and personal trainer. That was my first taste of entrepreneurship as well. But unfortunately, I got married and needed to get a better job to provide for my family. I've always had this real need to provide for my family and my kids. Even before I had kids, I wanted to provide for my friends. I always earned more money than my friends and would take them out, would drive places, would lend them money. And, me wanting to provide and help people dates back to even when I was really little. And my brother, I used to speak for him, and that's why he didn't speak until he was like 3 years old, and helping my nan in hospital when my granddad went into intensive care. So I had lots of times before then, but I developed this real big need. As soon as I had kids and got married, I developed this real need to provide. And I went back into a job, earned a lot of money at doing that, and I always knew how to earn money. And over a period of time, the relationship went its own way and we ended up getting divorced. I left the relationship, moved across the country, met my new wife as of now, Kay, who, you know, is a massive part of my businesses and runs our biggest business at the moment, which is KG Short Stay. And this need to provide just accelerated when I met Kay. I thought I was going to be able to provide for my family via a job. However, what I learned was I needed to make more of myself. And over a few years, I became an entrepreneur, built up a property company. That's the one that Kay runs now. And we've got lots of investments with other people and ourselves. We own property, we trade property, we have a management company. So that was my journey into entrepreneurship. In 2021, we hit a pinnacle. So we got through COVID, and because we got through COVID really, really well, it sort of springboarded us when in 2021 the markets bounced back. I don't know if any of you had experience of that, going from COVID and into outside of COVID when lockdowns came, but we managed to get lots of cheap loans and cheap money, and that allowed us to invest it and really catapult us into what I would say is probably millionaire status, you know, turning over 7 figures, buying lots of assets, having multiple companies, having lots and lots of dispensable income, going on lovely holidays, eating fine food, staying in amazing hotels, flying business class, you know, you name it. We enjoyed it. And because I got to that point, it was almost like I felt like I deserved it at that point. And because of all the enjoyment, I went back into bad habits. I had an injury back in 2017 and it was chronic back pain, chronic sciatica. I managed to fix it via swimming. And when COVID hit, swimming pools stopped. And by the time 2021, 2022 rolled round, the back pain had come back with a vengeance. I was back on the painkillers. I was drinking alcohol. I was eating out. I was enjoying myself. And I think the pain was masked a lot by the things that I was taking, the stuff that I was putting into my body, and obviously the serotonin and the endorphins that my body was releasing from all of this fun and activity that I was having was always there. But I never stopped going to the gym. I, in the most part, ate healthy, but because of all of the extra takeaways and all of the extra drinking and the painkillers, I sort of from 2021 went on this downward spiral. And by the end of 2022, I hit a very, very low point. I was going through the photos that we'd taken on holiday and looking at myself in the mirror and realized that I'd become something that I didn't want to become, which is basically a fat slob that was drinking too much alcohol, eating too much shit food, and taking too many painkillers to mask the pain of my back pain, which had returned with a vengeance. And I was getting other pains everywhere. You know, I'm a tall guy. I've had pains in my knees, pains in my shoulders. And obviously this pain in my back was the worst one ever. And I got sciatic pain. My leg went numb. And at this point in 2022, I was like, I can't take any more of this. I need to change something. And 2023 was when I went on this search again. And I had all the knowledge from being a personal trainer, but I started seeing things more often that geared me towards longevity, reversing my biological age. I didn't realize that's exactly what I was doing at the time, but all the stuff that I was attracted to was the practices that were going to, you know, help my biological age. Stop drinking as much alcohol, start exercising intelligently, use fasting as a way to manage my insulin levels, doing saunas more regularly. I've always done saunas, but doing saunas more regularly, and all of these things that I could do to improve my lifestyle. As an example, getting your circadian rhythm right by using sad light therapy, because in the UK we don't have much sun throughout the winter. So all of these little things I was compiling, and I saw a massive, massive difference. 2023, I progressed massively with my body fat, and I know that my age went down. I wasn't measuring it at the time. First time I measured it was in 2024, and I was about 5 or 6 years older than what my chronological age was. And yeah, just went on this journey. And the end of 2024, something happened and I discovered the Carnivore Entrepreneur. I was basically removed from my trading business. It sounds really bad, but we took a direction where I was going to focus on the group of investment companies and my personal brand. So I left KG Short Stay, the stuff I was doing with KG Short Stay, and Kay took that over fully and is doing an amazing job at the moment. But that's when the Carnivore Entrepreneur was born. And it brought me on this journey to accelerate who I was becoming, which was this person that can absolutely master their body, master their mind, and master their bank account. And I realized not so long ago that mastering all these things is unlocked by mastering your biological age. And your biological age literally turns everything on its head in the right or the wrong direction. So if you're getting older, then it's going to move your body, your mind, and your bank account in the wrong direction. Eventually it all knocks on. If your bank account's in a great place right now and your body isn't, it will have a knock-on effect eventually. Or it's fine, you've got loads of money, but it could have been a hell of a lot better if your body and your mind were in a great place. But on the flip side, if your biological age gets younger and younger and younger below your chronological age, it accelerates everything. It accelerates your wealth, your relationships, your presence, your emotions. Who you are as an individual would just get so much better. And recently, I've hit a point where my biological age is 10 years younger than where I'm at. I've got more energy than ever. My body fat is, well, I can't remember when it was, at 15%. And as soon as I get below 15%, I'm going to go on a bit of a muscle build. But I am in an amazing place right now. And I don't find it being a coincidence that our business had a bit of a tough year, because one of the things that made the decision for me to come away from KG Short Stay a little bit was we had someone defraud us, and it was for hundreds of thousands of pounds. And that made me realize that me being on the top of my game, because I was already on this journey, for my health and well-being and getting my body and mind into the right place. And when it hit, I was able to deal with it better. But it made me realize how important the initial part of the journey was. Because if I was in the same place I was in 2022, I might not have been able to handle someone defrauding us to that level. And it's been a tough journey over the last 12 months. But we've got through it, and now our business is coming through the other side. So by me fixing my biological age and getting that better, I do believe that's helped our bank account. And the huge thing that I've discovered recently is that your body operates in cycles, rhythms, and hormones. So we have 12 hormones that govern a lot of the rhythms within our body. And we have 6 rhythms within our body, and we have 3 cycles of where those cycles are basically where we're fixing, cleaning, or building things within our body. And each of them have a different purpose. And within those cycles are 2 different rhythms. I'll give you an example of a couple of them, which you might know, and I'll go through these in future episodes. But one of the rhythms you may know is the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is what determines when you get up and go to bed, and how much energy you have when you get up, and how easily you fall asleep, and how in rhythm you are with the rise and the fall of the sun. And there are artificial ways that we can control this and adapt this, proven by science. Follow a lot of Andrew Huberman, and I'm going to link a few things of his to this and refer to a few things of his, but he talks about how you can get light into your body early on to set your circadian rhythm. So that's an example of one of the rhythms. Another example would be your Ultradian rhythm. And your Ultradian rhythm is how you operate in about 60 to 90 minute cycles. So if you didn't know, but when you sleep, that works in a 90-minute cycle. When you work at high productivity, you can only work at high productivity for 60 to 90-minute cycle. And when you learn things, you only really can really deeply learn those things in 60 to 90-minute cycles before you should take a break and go back to it. Same with when you're working. So that's just an example of a couple of the rhythms that are within our body. But there's 6 rhythms, and then there are hormones within each of those rhythms that help you control control them. So as another example with the circadian rhythm, you've got cortisol and melatonin. So cortisol is what you need to get up, and it's your like a wake hormone. And then you've got your melatonin, which is released as you go to bed. And as you wind down and go to sleep and wind your body down, your body starts to release melatonin. And it's the melatonin that helps you fall asleep, which is why overusing a melatonin supplement, as an example, will stop your natural melatonin production. And therefore, when you're not using the supplement, you'll find it really difficult to go to sleep. So that's my discovery. I discovered that the body works in 3 cycles, 6 rhythms, and 12 hormones. And over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to talk to you about the 12 different hormones that govern exactly how your body ages, essentially. And longevity, really mastering longevity, is the absolute secret to having it all, to have all the strength, all the energy, and all the power that you have ever wanted or will ever need. And that's why the Carnivore Entrepreneur is spearheading the Have It All movement to show male entrepreneurs, midlife male entrepreneurs, how important longevity really is, how reversing your biological age really is. And this movement is making, hopefully, male entrepreneurs realize this fact. So here we go, Longevity Masters. It's going to be science backed, and it's going to be based on my own experiences as a male entrepreneur, how you can make the science fit in with your life. If you're like me, if you're a provider for your family, if you want to leave a legacy for the people that you love, this is the way to do it. The way to do it is to be alive and around for longer so that you can be there for your loved ones. This is going to be science-backed. It's going to be for male entrepreneurs, and it's going to be dumbed down so that even a 10-year-old can understand it. So I will name scientific phrases so that you understand the scientific reference so that you can go and check it out for yourself. But I'm going to explain it in a really simple way so that anyone can understand what's going on here. And it's not only based on my own experience and how I fit it into my life as a male entrepreneur, but also, like I said, it's going to be backed by science as well. Because we're not all the same, but we all have the same biology, and certain things that happen within our body are the same and do have similarities, even if all of us are different. So over the next 12 weeks, we're going to go over the 12 hormones. We're going to show you how they fit into the 6 rhythms within your body, like I mentioned before, like the circadian, the ultradian rhythm. And then we've got the 3 cycles, how we fix stuff, how we clean stuff, and then how we build stuff back up within our body to be better than ever. And the next episode is going to be on the hormone cortisol. And cortisol is all about how we wake ourselves up in the morning. It's the awakening hormone. And cortisol is really important for getting your circadian rhythm right. So cortisol is the next episode. So feel free to follow along. Share this with any man that you know that is an entrepreneur that would really benefit from reversing their biological age. So on that note, I'll see you guys on the next episode. And just remember to be young, be happy, and be free, people. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You are a carnivore entrepreneur. Live life how it was supposed to be lived on your terms with strength, energy, and purpose. I'll see you on the next episode.